Everybody, Mega Ruler 31 back here from FSI DFS. Going to be breaking down the 7-game slate for the 23rd of June. It's Wednesday. If you're looking for early slate coverage, we've got you covered. Just pause the video, check out our channel, and look for the one that McKinley412 did, and he will have that covered for you. And then just come right on back, and we will cover this evening slate. A nice slate, 7 games, no weather concerns, no real good pitchers. So last 2 days have been good. The lineup that we gave out yesterday, some of the hints that the pitchers were good. Houston wasn't. Franco, he was a cover boy, and he came out, hit a home run, had a really good game. He's really cheaply priced and will probably be a chalk player again. On this slate today, I had an A stack. My secondary stack didn't fire off, so I did well in that, but it would have been like epic had I paired some other guys with them. So looking forward to getting back at it today. So today's format, I'm just going to run through the games, and we'll see what the plays are as we go. So like I said, there's not much for pitching. So it's you're probably going to wait till the last game till you find your SP1, but we'll start with the Yankees and the Royals. You have Duffy against King. Duffy's coming back from the IL. King is really doesn't pitch that deep in the game, so at 7-1, if he makes it 3, 4, 5 innings, Yankees have a good bullpen. So I like the KC bats is probably a cheaper stack. The Yankees, priced really nice on FanDuel, a little bit more expensive on DK, but you can make it work. Voigt's back, had a home run yesterday. So if I'm stacking this, I'd probably go DeLeMahieu, Judge, Voigt, Stanton, probably pay down a catcher and maybe try to get your shell in there. But there are some other, punt plays. And the nice thing is you don't have to use a shortstop here. So throw Franco in that stack, and it works so nicely for you. And we're talking about Franco. Just make sure you're playing the one from Tampa Bay, not Mackay Franco from Baltimore. Please don't get confused there. Speaking of Baltimore, they take on Houston. They held Houston in check last night. I think the game was only 2-1, which was kind of disappointing. I really, really wish that there was some more offense on Houston's part. But, that's how it goes in baseball. So we'll have to see. Like, they have a high implied run total tonight. They have a 5.58, which is decent. They're overwhelming favorite. They're against a pitcher who really doesn't go deep in the games. The Orioles bullpen isn't great, so I think they're another great spot here. They pick up another bat in their lineup. It looks like Kyle Tucker will be back. He's at he hits down the order at 3.9, but I think I'm going to go back to him tonight, because I think some people might try to find another stack after last night and think the Orioles are a thing. The Houston didn't put up the runs. I'm not going back there, and they're expensive. So I definitely, if I'm building the stack, I think I'm going to look at Brantley, Altuve, Alvarez, and Toro, who's still cheap at 2.4. Get a cheap third baseman. He's definitely the way to go. Then I'll see if maybe throw in Tucker. Gurriel just seems too high at 4.8, but we'll get that a little bit in lineup breakdown. Orioles. So your Urquidy, I think, is a decent pitcher, and I think he's going to be my SP2 when I look at things today, because again, there's really not that much, and he's been solid. He's got some quality starts going for him, and the Orioles, even though they've been hitting and hot recently, they still have some strikeouts. They're still not a great team. So but I don't have any problem stacking them. Urquidy's a little bit of a reverse switch pitcher, kind of like Greinke was yesterday. So I'd stick to the righties. Galvis, Mancini, Santander, Mountcastle, makes a nice 4-man stack in or secondary stack if you want. Next game is the Braves and the Mets. Kyle Wright is pitching for the Braves. He only has 1 start. He only went like 4 innings. So I think he's starting to get more stretched out. He's a decent pitcher. Mets are starting to get people back in their lineup. Conforto, I think, might be back. O'Neill is back. So I think they should be in there. The Mets are in a little bit of trouble. There's some COVID with their Syracuse AAA team I was reading. And because being from Syracuse, formerly my homepage is syracuse.com, so usually sports stuff pops up for them. So seeing that they had a couple COVID cases there, I don't know if it might slow down the rehab for some of these guys coming back. And their pitching situation too is Stroman, I think, was set to go today, and he didn't make it through his last start, whenever that was. But needless to say, they just had almost a bullpen game with him because they had to use a lot of bullpen because he got injured early in that game. And now I think they're going to call somebody up. So they have Tyler Megill is the one that's starting, but we don't know if they're going to go bullpen, if he's just going to be an opener, and then they're going to mix and match through that. If they're going to pull up somebody from AA, we don't know. But what we do know is it's a great hitting situation, most likely for the Braves. So I think, they would be definitely a really good stack, even though they're a little bit expensive. You're going to pay $12K combined for Cunha and Friedman. So, I mean, that's pretty pricey. But then, going down, Amante has been decent at 3.4. Riley's reasonable at 3.8. Lower part of the stack isn't bad. So, something to consider. Wrap around. If like NCIRT or somebody down there at 2.4K, then just skip the pitcher, wrap right around to the top ones, and that helps you fit in a little bit. The Mets, like I said, Wright hasn't pitched too deep. They're coming back. I think speculation on them, they'd make a good GPP stack, especially like taking some of the lefties. They're relatively cheap besides Alonso, and you should be able to fit them in easily. Red Sox and Tampa Bay, you have Garrett Richards and Rich Hill. I think some players will be going and playing Richards as their SP2 if they're trying to get these expensive stacks in. Like Tampa Bay, I do see there's some equity there. Garrett Richards' control has been crazy. I think, you really are going to depend on the umpire in the strike zone for this one, how well he does. Tampa obviously hit last night. They had a really good game. Adding Franco to this lineup is going to help. He's probably going to hit further on down a little bit because it's going to be a righty matchup. So, but I think Richards is playable because there are some strikeouts in this lineup. And then Rich Hill on the other side against Boston, I think he's going to be an option also for a pitcher. Probably 8.7, a little bit high. Boston still is a good lineup. These righties hit lefties well. So I'm okay stacking either side of it. Like I said, Wander Franco, 2K, shortstop, you're probably just going to plug right in your lineup. If you want to stack some, I think people are going to overstack Tampa Bay just based on last night and with Wander there. And I think if you want to take a couple of the lefty bats with him, that works. Like if you want to go like Lau, Choi, Skip Errors, and Meadows, Franco, and then like Wendell. I think that's a nice stack there, but I think you want more pieces here than the full stack. But it could pay off. But the implied run total is really not that high. It's only 4.63. Red Sox, they only have a 3.87 total. I think that's a little low. So if you're betting, I'd kind of bet the over on that one. And yeah, I'm still stacking the Red Sox and Giants every single day. It didn't work out great yesterday. Red Sox hit. Luckily, I had Renfroe in there, but San Francisco, they put up 4 or 5 runs. I can't remember what it was, but I didn't have the right bats for that. So we try again today. Next game, Blue Jays and Marlins. Little discrepancy at who's pitching for Toronto. Some have Robbie Ray, some have Steven Matz. Major League Baseball has Robbie Ray, so we'll go with him. I think he's like probably one of the best medium range pitchers there at well, actually, he's a little bit higher. He's 9.2. I'm looking at Matt's pricing. So he's low, high, medium range against the Marlins in a pitching ballpark. So I think that you can definitely go there. Trevor Rogers on the other side is a good pitcher too. I think he'd be my third choice over the higher price pitchers. Alcantara did well yesterday against this lineup. He only gave up 2 or 3 runs. So it's a pitcher's park. I think it is possible, but you do have a really good right-handed hitting lineup here in Toronto. So I think that they definitely can put up some runs. As for playing them as bats, like they're so expensive. You got 2 guys over 6K with Bichette at 6 and Guerrero at 6.3 and Simeon at 5.4. So I think if you are stacking this now, George Springer is back. They have him hitting 5th in this lineup, and he's only 3.7. So that's a great value to put him in there against the left-handed. So if you want to go like down further in the stack, if you skip the top 2 and just go like Vlad, Timo, who hits left-handed pitching really good, Springer, Grichich, and then maybe pick Adams as the catcher at 2.3. I think that's a great way to possibly go. Marlins, I don't know. I think if you want to play them in a GPP for $1, I think that's fine. But I wouldn't think this is a great situation for them. A's and Rangers. A's are super hot last night. Caprillion is pitching. He's been hot and cold. Like, he started out really good. I played him a lot, and then the regression came. The last couple, he hasn't been as bad. So I think in a night where you don't have too many pitchers at 8-4, he's kind of priced in no man's land. Last two against the Yankees, he had 22 DK points. He had 27 DK points. Before that at KC, then he had a couple of bad games, like Seattle like completely lit him up, but Seattle previous to him. So maybe it was just because I saw him like twice in a row there. It looks like he averages like 20 DK points, only a couple quality starts. So that kind of concerns me. I wouldn't play him on FanDuel. You're looking for definitely making 6 innings of quality start there. Fulton average on the other side is very risky. I think this A's lineup is really going to hit him hard tonight in Texas. I don't know if the roof's open or what the weather's going to be there, but I think that kind of want to stay away from these two pitchers. If you're paying down, I think you would go like Wright or Garrett Richards, but Fulton Evich, if you need the salary, I think he's the lowest that you can go. A's, I think I'm going to stack him again tonight, go back to there. Hope Kemp leads off, because not only does he have a little bit of power, he's got good contact, good speed, can steal a base. Canna, Olsen, Laureano. I just hate that you can't play Mitch Moreland and Olsen at the same. I just wish DK had a utility position, or make one of them like outfield or third base or something like that, so you can play both. But you have to choose. So if you need the money, go down to Moreland. If you don't, Olsen is probably one of the best matchups here on the slate. So probably let me go 4-man stack there. I like Chapman is just having such a rough season. I don't know if I could play him in the stack at 4-6. I'd probably maybe take 2 one-offs like I did. Yeah, he's 10, 14, and then a whole string of single-digit DK points. Like, he hasn't really exploded. Hasn't had a home run. He had 1-2 games ago, but it's been very few and far between this year. And then the final game, I think this is going to be a great pitcher's duel. You have Trevor Bauer and Musgrove. You have 2 great pitchers against 2 good offenses. And I really don't mind Bauer here, because he has pitched against San Diego earlier in the season. He put up, I think, like high 20s in DK points. He's a solid pitcher. It doesn't seem like the Stickum thing is going to hurt him. He's got a long leash. So I really think he's going to be my SP1 tonight. And then Musgrove on the other side, I don't struggle with him either. I just really am a little concerned because the Dodgers are starting to get healthy. Bellinger is slated to come back in the lineup and hit 4th. So Muncy's back in the lineup. Seager's not back quite yet, but he's coming back soon. So this Dodgers lineup is going to be back to where it needs to be, unless they're like rotating guys out for like rest or something for the season. And all of a sudden you're going to see like Betts and Turner take their turn on the IL or something. If that happens, then I'll be crying conspiracy theory. But other than that, I do think the Dodgers could be a sneaky stack. So could San Diego against these pitchers in a GPP. That might be a way to take it down, is that people look at the 7 total here. It's like, it looks like a pitcher's duel, and then they just stack one of the teams at very low ownership, and it happens to go off. The pitcher gets a blister, food poisoning, something, doesn't make it past the first inning. Even though both these have good bullpens, don't think this is the most likely thing that's going to take down a tournament tonight, but it's possible. So let's look at lineup construction quickly, and we'll get you on your way for your day to go out there and hopefully make some money. So I'm going to start with Bauer as my SP1, and I'm going to take Uquity as my second pitcher in my SP2. I'm going to select a catcher. I'm going to look for a catcher in the I'm going to mark like 2-6, because then that gives me about 5 or 6 options of catchers. So if I maybe just throw like a Flero in there or somebody like that at 2-6, just so there's a couple of catchers below him if he's not in, and it'll give me some flexibility. Like I said, I think there's a bunch of catchers in that range. Yeah, so you could take Maldonado also, Heem, Caratini, Adams at 2-3. So there's like 5 catchers there. So just mark somebody in at 2-6 and just save that price tag and then go from there. So then you're going to put Franco in at shortstop. So that gives you your first 4 locks, and then throw whatever stack in. Like I said, I like Houston. So decide if you're going to play 4-8 for Gurriel, and then Altuve, Toro, Alvarez, and Brantley. That leaves you about like 4-5 or so for your I think it leaves you 4-8 per player. So if you can find a first baseman and an outfielder that you really want to pair together in that stack, then that works out well. I think like maybe some of the Oakland guys would work there. If not, remember that Bellinger is pretty cheap at 4-3 coming back. So he, and then pay up a little bit at a first baseman. I'm not sure I want to put Gurriel in that stack, but watch him hit a home run now. If you want the Yankees, the same thing. Put Bauer and Urquidy in, and then Wander Franco, and then I would take Voit, DiMaggio, Judge, and Stanton. And then if you put your shell in there, you'd need a 2K batter, like potentially. I think Kiermaier, if he's in the lineup, he bats only a couple away from Franco, so he could be 2K, but I just don't like that. I would probably drop third base and outfield and look for a combination of those two on a team with correlation that would work to finish off that stack for the Yankees. Unless they like have like some weird like bench player in the lineup that's like really, really cheap, and you can fill the outfield spot with that, and it gives you a little bit more for third base. And then finally, looking at the A's again, Bauer, Urquidy, 2.6K catcher, Franco in there, and then Canna, L'Oreal, Kemp, who I hope is leading off and playing second, and Olsen. And then I would not play Chapman. I would look and find a pairing. I think you can maybe get maybe take 2 one-offs or find something that works together, maybe like Devers and like Renfroe from the Red Sox. It's just really the Braves. You might be able to take like Almonte and like Riley. You'll have some money left there, so you could go up on catcher for that one, or go up for your SP2. So definitely some options there. So really appreciate you watching, and hopefully this helped you out. So we want to make it 3 days in a row for cashing and doing well here. And so look forward to tonight in baseball. Like I said, I like these slates. They're 7-8 games. I think they're right to where you need to be. I wish there was like some better pitching options, but I think that's going to make it more fun, because there isn't like such chalk that everybody's going to plug in and have the same lineups. It's really going to cause players to think and make decisions. And when that happens, then that really leads to some different scoring, and like not everybody like goes into a double up and has the same lineup, and you all are on mid cash line, and you don't get a full double up because you're all tied and it's like all divided out. So those nights are horrible. Well, thanks again for watching. Again, if you're looking for early, check out McKinley 412's early video, and we'll have some more for tomorrow's slate. So give us a like, drop a comment, and reach out to me on Megaro31 on Twitter if you have any additional questions. We'll see what we can do to help you with the lineups. Thanks for watching.